Navigating the trends can be hard enough at the best of times, so today I'm sharing the do's and don'ts of wearing summer's top trends if you're over 50. Hi, I'm Leonie and welcome to my channel. Now, fashion trends, as we know, are constantly evolving and changing. New trends are popping up and that's super exciting, but it can also be a little confusing. And while fashion is really personal and there's never going to be one size fits all, there are certain styles and fashion trends that just become a little trickier to wear as you get older. So think about today's episode as just giving you some simple guidelines perhaps to follow, or at very least some food for thought. Now, first up, and this may be a little surprising, but I do think the older we get, the more we need to be cautious when it comes to adopting really trendy items into our wardrobe. Now, the reason I say this is because those trendy, really fashion forward pieces are generally the ones that are the most exciting. They're new, they're fresh, and potentially they even remind us about our younger years, or perhaps this is the second coming for some of the trends for us. But I do think you have to be really careful and remember where you're at in your life now, what your personal style represents and what your lifestyle represents, and whether these fashion trends are actually going to work for you in the here and now. They may have worked incredibly well years ago, and you may have being able to pull off some of these styles, or perhaps you've never worn them before and you find them exciting. And that can be a good thing, but I do think you just have to proceed with a little bit of caution when it comes to these really trendy, fashion forward pieces. In saying that, some of them will work for you and will be great, but I think the two questions that you have to ask yourself with this one is, will this trend piece actually fit my lifestyle, and does it actually work in with my current personal style and the version of myself that I want to present to the world? These really trendy pieces can be a bit of a trap for that reason. It's almost like dangling a carrot in front of our eyes, but just ask yourself those couple of questions before you buy. What you will find this summer is shoulder pads creeping back in. And while I think shoulder pads are great, and when it comes to illusion dressing, they are a great way to create some balance in an outfit, but I think we can go too far and it just becomes really reminiscent of those sort of 80s power shoulder pads, which can work really well on younger girls, but I think it can be kind of aging and just date us a bit if we're over 50. So I think just be careful with the shoulder pads, look at the size. Maybe if you have some shoulder pads at home that are right for you, you might need to sort of swap them out in some of these different pieces. I've seen quite a few tees and tanks and certainly some blazers with some pretty hefty shoulder pads. So just be aware that yes, this is something that's happening in fashion, but it can be quite aging. So pull it back a little bit and maybe opt for something that isn't quite so extreme, even if you have to swap out with a slightly different shoulder pad. Now, over the past few seasons, we've seen quite a bit of neon popping up, and while I'm all here for it, I think it's a really bright, fun, exuberant trend. I do think we just have to be a little bit careful and not wear too much of it, especially close to our face. Neon does tend to, and sorry, I've just got my little friend that's joined me here wanting to chime in on neon, but what I was saying is that neon can be quite harsh and certainly draining if it's worn close to your face. So I'm not saying don't wear it and don't incorporate neon detail into some of your looks, but just be careful how much you wear and how close you wear it to your face. I have seen lots of pieces that have like little neon stripe detail or piping, and I think that's a really nice way to add a little touch of the trend without it kind of aging you and potentially dating your outfits. And at this point, I'd just like to say a very big thank you to the team at Kane for sponsoring this portion of today's episode. Now, I've been working with Kane for a number of years now because I love the brand. I discovered Kane on a trip to LA a couple of years ago now, stumbled into one of their stores and just had one of those kind of wow moments. Why had I not heard of Jenny Kane before? Probably because I live on the other side of the world, but now I love Jenny Kane and I'm slowly building up my collection of beautiful Jenny Kane pieces. Like for instance, today I've just updated my cardie. You've probably seen me wear one of my other Jenny Kane cashmere cardies before. It's a longer line cocoon cardie, that's what it's called, and it's perfectly named because these cardies just kind of wrap you up and cocoon you, which is lovely. And it's almost winter here in New Zealand, so it's perfect for me to be wrapped up in a lovely cocoon cardie. So I love my longer line one from Jenny Kane. I decided to update it with a black and slightly cropped cocoon cardie. Now this is 100% cashmere and I love the versatility of these pieces. So as you can see here, today I'm just wearing it on its own as a top. I wear it layered over t-shirts, you name it. These pieces are just really good quality basics that I know that I'll love and wear for years to come. And if you haven't heard of Jenny Kane before, the real focus of this brand is around comfort, quality, and timeless design. It kind of flows through everything they do. Now, Jenny Kane is not just a fashion brand. They also create some amazing homewares, jewelry, footwear. There really is something for everyone at Jenny Kane. In fact, I recently fell in love with these beautiful suede slides, which remind me of the Birkenstock Arizona slides, but are way more cool if you ask me. So I've definitely got my eye on these. And if like me, you'd like to find your very own forever pieces at Jenny Kane, then all you need to do is click the link in my description box below and use my code, which is Style Insider, to save 15% off your order. Now, they do furniture, they do bedding, they do so many beautiful things. So definitely, if nothing else, whip on over to Jenny Kane, have a little look at what they do, and I think you might be really surprised, especially if you haven't checked them out before. But also don't forget that discount code, 15% using my code Style Insider. But click that link after you finish watching this video and go and check them out. There are lots of mini skirts happening this season too, and I think mini skirts definitely have their place. But I do think that they become quite aging as we get older. And if you've got great legs and you love showing them off, of course you're going to do you and wear them. But I do think there are some other options that work incredibly well, give you that comfort and cool factor, but just don't expose quite so much leg. There are definitely some gorgeous cargo skirts and even some skirts that fall well above your knee that give you that same look, but they just tend to create an outfit that just is a little bit more elegant and a little bit more sophisticated. There are also some great midi and maxi skirts around this season too, and you might be surprised that they are easy to wear, they're going to keep you cool in summer, and they actually look really lovely teamed back with a simple tee or a tank to give your outfit a bit more of a sort of a relaxed weekend look. They can also be dressed up quite easily as well, so that makes them a really versatile piece. So there are other options to wear rather than sticking to short super mini skirts. Okay, for most of us, denim is very much a style staple, and over the last few years we've seen lots of changes in denim jeans, and certainly of late there's been lots of double denim happening and even really interesting takes on denim. So just sort of reworked styles, and just denim's become really interesting. But one of the things that I find that I personally believe is quite aging and has the sort of potential to date our outfits is denim pieces that are overly distressed. So I would say steer clear of anything that is really full of sort of rips and distressing, and swap those pieces out for more simple, slightly darker washes and with less, definitely less distressing. Those more pared back classic denim pieces give you a far more refined look. So I would steer really clear of some of those super distressed pieces. Even some of the ripped jeans are just getting a little bit much for, I think, anyone over 50. What I have noticed this season is some really bold, trendy prints, and I would just say when it comes to wearing prints, be really careful that you don't opt for something that's too trend focused, because one, they date really quickly, and two, they can tend to age you. Often these trendy prints have been seen before And it potentially runs the risk of us looking like we are wearing a piece from the 80s as opposed to wearing a fashion-forward new piece. If that's fine with you, that's absolutely fine. But what I often suggest is just sticking to some of the basics like stripes, polka dots, just your sort of bold colors, as opposed to some of those really trend focused prints. Now, this next one is probably going to get me into a bit of trouble, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you need to be really careful when it comes to platform sandals. Now, the reason for this is because the platform is generally really solid, and if you've ever bought a pair of platform sandals, you'll find yourself, like I did in a runway show that I did years ago, wearing some platform sandals, but they basically didn't move. So I felt like I was clomping my way down the runway with my feet really just not being able to kind of move with the shoe because there was no movement in them. Now, some of the platforms are going to be sort of rubbery and a little bit more malleable, but there are plenty of platforms that are just so rigid on the sole that they don't offer you the kind of support and the movement that makes getting around just easy and practical and sensible, in my opinion. So just be careful if you are looking at platform sandals. Maybe try them on first before you buy them, but just be aware that platforms are sometimes really difficult to walk in. There are plenty of other beautiful flat sandals that don't have that chunky platform sole that just makes them a little easier to get around in. Now, the next two trends are kind of linked, but the first one that I think you do have to be really careful of when you're over 50 is wearing really oversized baggy clothes. Now, I know in the last couple of seasons we're definitely paring that back a little bit, and certainly some of the oversized blazers that we've been wearing are getting cinched in at the waist, and we're just getting a little bit more, or certainly seeing a little bit more shape coming through, which is a good thing. But I do think it's really important that unless that is very much your style, that everything is kind of oversized and baggy, you have to be careful not to wear that look and have it age you, because you can potentially just look a little bit unkempt and just like you haven't made an effort. And again, I can probably imagine some of the comments that I'm going to get. I personally wear an oversized blazer. I think one of the reasons that it's probably a little easier for me to wear is because I'm super tall. I'm nearly 6 foot tall, so I sort of have the height to carry that off. I think if you are a little bit more petite, it is definitely harder to wear that look and wear it well. So a word of caution is just to be really careful with those oversized blazers and oversized pieces, and certainly think about your proportions. So if you're wearing something that's a little bit more oversized and baggy on the top, try and opt for something that's a little bit more form-fitting down below, and vice versa. But I am happy that we're actually seeing a little bit more shape in pieces, especially like blazers, because I do think it's overall more of a flattering look. And conversely speaking, in the next trend that I think we have to be really careful of when we're over a certain age, or probably any age really, is clothing that is too tight. So on the flip side to some of the oversized pieces, there have definitely been more sort of body hugging, form-fitting type clothes. I've seen quite a few sets that are more form-fitting, and certainly more kind of bodycon style dresses. Now, I think we have to be really careful of these pieces. It doesn't mean we can't wear form-fitting dresses and sets, but it just means I think we have to focus on these items skimming our body as opposed to clinging, and there is a real difference. I think sometimes there's a trap that you can fall into, that if you're wearing something that's sort of tight-fitting, you can suck it all in and look at yourself in the mirror and you look fine before you leave the house. But then when you're actually around and about and doing your thing, you relax your body a little bit and they don't look quite as flattering. So think about these pieces as skimming as opposed to hugging your body. And I believe one of the easiest ways to age yourself and date an outfit is by your choice of accessories. Now, there are so many amazing accessories around. I'll flick some up on the screen here. And I think that accessories become a really important part of our outfits, especially as we age. They really do have the power to make or break an outfit, or give an outfit a little bit more of a modern edge without it looking like we're trying too hard. And certainly when I see Some of my peers, their outfits are great, but their accessories let them down. So their sunglasses may be a little dated, or their necklaces that they wear, or even their handbags. So just making sure that some of those pieces are a little bit more modern and current will make a huge difference to how you look and feel in your outfits. So to sum up, just a few general tips that are worth thinking about when it comes to styling the current season trends and looking our very best. And that's what it's all about. It's about looking our best, not trying to look younger than our years, but look as good as we can for our age. So think about fit. So you want your pieces to skim your body and not cling and hug you too tightly. Certainly skimming pieces is far more flattering. And secondly, embrace your style, your personal style that fits who you want to present to the world right now and what your lifestyle is all about. And think about those two key factors when you're looking at some of the on-trend, new, glitzy, shiny, fashion-forward pieces. Some of them you may love, you may be able to wear them, but if they don't fit the two criteria of your personal current style or your lifestyle, they're really not going to get that wear. So think about those two things before you invest in some of the really new trend pieces. And thirdly, I can't overstate this one, accessories. Just think about some of the pieces that you wear on a daily basis, your eyewear, your sunglasses, your jewelry. Can you mix and match and just change out a few of those pieces to give your outfits a little bit more of a fresher, modern look? Accessories are the most cost-effective way to do it, but they're also one of the things that we hold on to and kind of forget that they could potentially be dating our outfits. So have a good look at your accessories and don't underestimate the power of updating them. Anyway, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, I'd love you to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.